Scott, and for this week I thought let's take a little bit of a lighter subject. We've been through some heavy stuff, so for a lighter tone I thought let's go ahead and rate all of the 14 currently available ship manufacturers installed citizen to us. Notice here I'm not saying ship manufacturers, I am ignoring the ones that only make ground vehicles, because spaceships, I like spaceships more than the ground vehicles, and it means that you don't need to hear me rant about an overtank again, which I think everybody will appreciate. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and straight into it with Gattac manufacturer, which of course makes the Raylan. As the Raylan is currently only in a concept stage, I think honestly when we're going to be ranking them as a manufacturer, I think they would fall firmly into the category of let's wait and see. We don't know anything about them yet. We don't know how the ship is going to really be. We just have some numbers on papers and a couple of JPEGs, so let's move on. To Xperia, the makers of fake alien ships. But they still charge you the alien ship tax, so you always be aware of that one. But honestly speaking, it's like they are doing an excellent job at what they're doing. They are taking these alien ships, tooling them apart, and then completely reverse engineering them with human systems wherever possible, of course, are needed, human controls, and then they're selling them to humans who just want to look really cool and don't really care that they're paying a lot of money for this thing because they're not after the actual full capabilities of these ships. It is completely fine for these ships to be an inferior vessel at a much higher price because their purpose is not to be an efficient combatant. With the sole exception is probably they may sell some really upgraded models maybe to the Navy to use in like training exercises, but beyond that they do a good job, and they just need to keep doing that good job, like find more alien interesting stuff, grab it, reverse engineer it and sell it to us, because hey, who doesn't like to look like the evil bad guy once in a while? Kruger, I mean, they make two snubs and they look amazing. They have a completely different sort of shape because of the pilot being at the back of the ship. I really like them, but they only make these two and they're pretty much the same thing anyway. So when it comes down to it, for Kruger, I think the simple rating is going to be love the way you design ships, please show us more of them, make something larger and come back to us. Origin. We love your luxury, but also you kind of suck at your luxury. I mean, your 600 I sucked. Now you're reworking it and it looks amazing, but now your 890 kind of looks eh. Your 300 series is not very inspiring. Your 100 series is too expensive. I mean, yeah, honestly, Origin, you definitely fall for yourself in a category of you need improvement. They need to be more consistency in the brand, especially also in the exterior of these vessels. The interior of these vessels. Take away a lot of these smaller lessons, like put in a small greenery wall in your 300 series interior. It is a small little touch, but it makes it something that is just a little bit more special instead of just these hard surfaces, which you have a lot of. And finally, please allow us to customize the interior of these really old ships, because it's kind of the point of them. So yeah, Origin, category, rating, you need improvement. Get working. Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern. They're the best. Like there's no ship manufacturer that does a better job than Misk. And I'm not saying that because I'm the biggest Misk fanboy that all of my ships in my fleet are Misk. I'm saying that because they make excellent ships in such a wide range of roles that it's almost impossible for a group of players or anybody who has a large fleet to not have Misk ships in there, because they are just too darn useful. Whether it is the ambiguous hull series for transportation, or the far more dedicated stuff like the Odyssey for exploration, or our complete Endeavour science ship, or even the Misk freelancer for our truckers out there. They have so many excellent ships with very few ships in their lineups that are absolutely missers. Of course, primarily is those vertical transformer things at the low end. I even forgot the names of those things. They're horrible starter ships. They're not worth it. But beyond that, Misk just keeps putting out amazing looking ships, amazing capable ships in wide ranges of uses. It is impossible to get around them. And for me, they are by far the best ship manufacturer out there. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Keep giving us more. And I'm sure that people will be buying them very gladly from you. AHS Dynamics. Yeah, oh. Talk about a classic and old name. Very storied, has a bit of a muddied history, of course, with the whole Messer era and, being supportive of all of that. But you cannot deny, what they have offered. The only problem I think that we see really with AHS is that they have stagnated. They really have stagnated. The Gladius here is a really old light fighter. It's been, the go-to for so long. But now the Anvil Aero is just, pretty much showing it every corner of the room. They have the Saber, they make this like more stealthy medium fighter. It works, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Okay, they have their capital, great units, but I'm fairly sure we're going to see some RSI capital units at some point in those same categories, and they do their job as well. But again, I'm really missing some innovation here from AHS. They are just building upon what they have, and I think if they really want to full-on rebrand themselves, they need to look at their lineup and be like, okay, this has been excellent. Now we need to make the next generation of excellent, and the next generation needs to be something completely new and not just keep on building upon what you already have, because sometimes an old platform really becomes a limitation. We see this in real life as well. We saw this with the whole Boeing 737 scenario. The Boeing 737, like, believe it or not, like the basic shape on the whole section of the 737 dates back to the Boeing 707. That's how old the damn thing is. I've been reusing it over so many times. At some point you just need to be like, okay, it's been good. It's done an amazing job. But now we need to start from scratch and build something new. And that's really what AHS needs to be doing, I think, here. I'd love to see AHS to come out with some new designs, like completely scratch with new, be like, okay, we're throwing all of what we know out there and we're just saying, okay, all we keep is our knowledge. How would we build the best light fighter, the best medium fighter, the best heavy fighter, the best bomber, the best capital ship, whatever. But come up with something new. Like, I love the storied history of a lot of these AHS ships, but I want to see something new from them. So AHS definitely falls in the category if you've done an amazing job, but you need to improve. You need to come up with something new. Robert Space Industries, I mean, really a manufacturer that is largely divided in like amazing ships and shit ships, and doesn't really do much in between. The Perseus is an amazing looking ship. The Bengal is goddamn glorious. But then you have something like the Constellation. It needs a rethink. That ship is so absolutely uninspiring. The interior is so bland and it's just a single tube. Like, look at the Drake Corsair. Like, that is a proper interior. That's a place where you want to be in, and it has like character to it. And the Constellation has none of that. They need to rework that thing. The Aurora series is getting just outclassed time after time after time again. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a traditional starter and, lore-wise everybody goes out with it. But nowadays everybody's going after it. Consolidated Outland, Origin, Misk, Drake. They're punching it, porting all over the place. Then we have the Polaris, which is a torpedo boat with a hangar on it, which doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, it still doesn't make any sense. It doesn't offer you any capabilities that is worthwhile for the sacrifice of space and volume that you're making there. That ship could have been so much more interesting, and I will be making a video on the Polaris on how I would make that ship, how I would design the Polaris instead. That will come back next, but yeah, RSI, big hits, big misses. So your job is to learn from your big hits and apply those to fix your misses. Maybe it is time that the Aurora gets a full rework. Maybe it is time that the Constellation gets a full rework. Because my god, RSI, you know how to do it. You're just not doing it. Crusader Industries. Glorious designs. But really, the value's struggling there. I think the C2 is fine, but everything else, the Genesis is going up as well. Then you have the new Spirit series, which is just severely lacking in componentry. And I don't care what you're saying about speed and maneuverability. If I'm flying around VIPs, I want to have 2 shields on my ship, because guess what? I need to keep those people safe. And I'm sure that they would very much enjoy it if I would be flying around with a ship that had some extra shielding, even if they never will take a shot at it. But that's the sort of things that these people care about. So yeah, Crusader Industries, your ships look amazing. Like, they are so bloody good. So make them good as well. Give us a little bit extra componentry. Make those price tags worthwhile by doing that. And you will be absolutely glorious. So you're almost there, you're very close, but you just need a little bit extra. And you can be amongst the best out there. Drake Interplanetary. I mean, I don't own any Drake ships. I don't like the way Drake ships looks. But I think that they're an amazing manufacturer. Like, they are gloriously good at what they're doing. They're fully leaning into what they are. And they're taking it to a level of memory, even though their ships are actually really, really good. Again, with very few missers. They don't have the range yet of Musashi, so they will not be rated as high as Musashi for that reason. But they are in the top without a question of a doubt. Drake just needs to keep doing what it's doing. Expand that offering and just keep bringing, the people a cheap, reliable option to get the job done. The only major improvement that they need to do is, like, for fuck's sake, put escape seats and stuff in your ships, I know it's brand all of that, but really survivability is kind of nice to have. So if you include that, that would be absolutely great. Anvil Aerospace. Yep, military, contractor extraordinaire. Everything they do is all around the military roles, and not just the combat roles, of course, if we see here with a Carrack, which of course an explorer, but its main job is mapping out jump points, which I'm sure that the Navy is not sharing all of those jump point discoveries with us, because those are very, very valuable military secrets when you just look at it logically speaking. And beyond that, like, they offer us great fighters. We've seen the very old style, of course, of the F7 Hornet, but they came out with a new light fighter in the form of the Arrow, a new heavy fighter in the form of the F8, which is also going to be replacing the Hornet. They have supporting assets for these military operations, a really well-rounded brand for their niche in what they're doing, and they're doing it really well. And they're bringing out these new ships, which is why I think that they're just punching H's all over the block right now, and why H's needs to come up with something new. Because yes, it's nice to have all things that really work. Like, the Carrack has been around for a long time, the Hornet has been around for a long time, but you also need to come up with new things, because you need to keep innovating. And I think that's why Anvil is doing that. They're doing it very well within their niche, and they're definitely ranking in the top. But because their niche is still somewhat constrained, they will not be ranking at the absolute top. Banu, of course, bit generalized of all Banu, because, well, we only have 2 ships. The Defender is okay-ish, and of course the Merchantman. Everybody's been looking forward towards this ship, and I think that's also going to be the problem, because no matter how much effort they put in the Banu Merchantman, it is never going to live up to the entire hype that people have for the ship. So I really feel sorry for them. And beyond that, really, it is going to be for us a wait and see. So let's just wait and see what they come out with. see where they need to go with it. But I do hope we will see more Banu ships around, because we definitely need them. And I think once they have the merchantmen fully sorted out, that gives them a good building base to work with to add additional Banu ships into the game. Some of which may fall then also in human hands, of course, down the line. Because in the end, they are traders and they're traditionalists, but, humans are just like, yeah, but we want it. And they're like, here's money. And they're like, yeah. And then we're like, here's more money. And they're like, and then we're like, here's more money. And at some point they will sell it to us anyway. So, yeah. Give us more, but for really, we need to wait and see it, because we just don't have enough information yet. Argo. We make industrial ships. They look like industrial ships. We shall paint them in industrial ship colors like orange and grey. And they're industrial ships. And yes, they're very definitely industrial ships. They're amazing. They're so bloody amazing. The only problem with Argo is that there are not enough of them. And I want to see larger Argo ships. I want to see more of them. I want to see Argo to build a freighter to take on the Misk hull series, because they would look absolutely amazing. So Argo, you're a top class manufacturer, but you need to take it to the next level, because my god, you have everything you need to take it to the next level. So top rated manufacturer, but you're not at the top yet, because you need to expand your offering. Consolidated Outland. You have one good ship, and we're looking at it right here, the Pioneer. It's going to probably be amazing, or it's going to be absolutely shit. We don't really know yet, of course, because we don't have it yet. But everything points to it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But the rest of your lineup is kind of The Nomad, let's be honest, is just shit. The Mustang is acceptable, and then we have the Pioneer. What's in between? What else are you going to be doing? You don't really feel like anything yet. You're trying, just seem to be throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. And I sort of get it, like, of course, you're modeled after the whole Tesla Elon Musk stuff, which, the way things are going right there, I would strongly suggest to probably get away from that, because it is clear that he's a complete asshole and idiot. So come up with something, like, form your own proper identity. And I think your identity should be in this whole, we are out there on the fringes, and we're going to make the fringes habitable, hospitable, and welcoming. Because you have these kind of ships that really fit out there to be not really in the core systems, but to be outside of those core systems and to be expanding there. You're the first wave, and you need to bring us more into that area. If you do that, you can definitely be a top manufacturer. But right now, you need to improve, and you need to find that identity. And then we have Aopoa. I just don't care. Your ships are kind of shit, but they don't really go anywhere. Nobody really cares about you except for a few fanboys, which clearly don't use them, because then they would be constantly blowing up and getting shot to pieces. I get it, you want to make vertical ships cool, but it doesn't really work. They don't even look all that cool vertically, because they're just more of this giant starfish. Like, here I'm trying to be as large as possible in my frontal section, which I'm presenting to you so that you can shoot at it. Doesn't make any sense. None at all. Especially now at 318, when ballistics are going to be full penning on shields. Like, these engines are not going to survive more than a second. So yeah, I'm sorry Aopoa, but you're absolutely bottom tier. You don't have a lot, and what you have is just shit. End of story. And with that, we have ranked all 14 of the starship manufacturers in Star Citizen. I hope you enjoyed a bit of a lighter take on content for this week. And for next week, as I alluded to, we will be discussing the Robert Space Industries Pioneer and... not Pioneer, Polaris, I'm sorry. The Robert Space Industries Polaris, and how I will... how I would design that ship capability-wise. Because I'm not, I'm not an artist or whatever, but I can talk you through what is needed capability wise and how that would look and how you can fit that in. So look forward to that one next week. For this week, thank you so much for giving me a listen once again. If you have any feedback, as always, then leave it down below. I did increase volume up a little bit, so hopefully it works out a little bit better, and we'll find tweaking and tuning all this stuff. And in the end, sadly, I do have to deal with the fact that I live in a giant concrete box, and I'm trying to throw stuff here and down and anywhere to deal with some of the echo, but it's not going to be fixed all that quickly. So that's why the volume balancing is always a bit of a tricky aspect, so to speak. Anyhow, with that all said, once again, thank you so much, and we'll see each other hopefully next week. Bye bye.